Not too long ago, as we were coming in after the photograph break, I was looking at the paper on my hand, and I saw that the next speaker will have been Tony Elumelu, CEO, Tony Elumelu Foundation. And I looked around, I didn't see Tony Elumelu. As I was about to sit down, I saw Tony Elumelu coming. I think to atone for his coming late, he went to General Gawan and he was holding his hand. I wonder what is there between General Gawan, an old soldier, and Tony Elumelu, a young entrepreneur and money maker. Oh, okay, there's something in between you. There's something in between you. Tony, let me say this. In addition to all that Tony is doing, there's one thing that he's doing that people may not know enough about. Is building young entrepreneurs. And when you talk of agripreneur, I think, DG, if you don't know what he is doing, maybe this is the time you should be talking together and joining hand. He is building young entrepreneurs. You are building agripreneurs. And between the two of you and others like you, including Dangote, and including some other organization that I know, we can, and we must provide adequately for employment for our youth. Tony, you have the floor.
Let me stand on the existing protocols, but I must recognize our presidents, our leaders. First, President Obasanjo asked me, by the way, my brother, I called him General Obasanjo. I don't think that's politically correct again. President Obasanjo asked, what was I discussing with President Gowon? And he's a man that has inspired many of us. First thing I asked him is, how come he keeps looking younger and younger? I said, are you not 80? He said he's going to be 83 in a few months' time. And so I want to recognize this. Thank you. And it's interesting to also recognize somebody who is boss to this giant. Okay, so this is an interesting session. To have, for IITA to have President Obasanjo as the MC is a very intimidating role. A very intimidating role indeed. And President Obasanjo was talking about our Greek entrepreneurs and what we are doing at the Tony Elumelu Foundation. And I just looked immediately at Dr. Akinbamijo, who, to a large extent, when he became the Minister of Agric in Nigeria, decided to create an important awareness that agriculture is not about social service. The agriculture is actually business. And to a large extent, popularized this concept and philosophy of agric entrepreneurs in Nigeria. And it's a role he continues to play, not just in Nigeria, but now at a bigger platform, playing across all of Africa. So with the help of people like Dr. Adeshino, the organization he runs, the African Development Bank, IITA, the patron and the support of the patronage and support of President Obasanjo, the support and interest of Dangote and the Tony Elumelu Foundation, I think we all will work in a concerted fashion to addressing the issue of food security and making sure that Africa does not only feed itself, but Africa actually is positioned to feed the world. Dr. Adeshino and I were in Rwanda last week, talking about how to engage our youth in Africa, talking about how to create employment for African youths. we all realize that this is one task all of us must address if we must succeed as a continent. And one of the key areas we all agreed was key in dealing with the issue of unemployment in Africa, in addressing poverty situation in Africa, and in driving inclusive growth in Africa is agriculture. And today we're here also, again, to talk about IITA at 50. So let me, therefore, start by commending IITA. You have done very, very, very well in helping to promote research, introduce innovation in agri-space. I mean, people who want to become farmers as we want them to be on the continent, how improved ways of practicing agriculture. You, therefore, are playing a key role in helping to address poverty on our continent, because agriculture, as we know, contributes about 65% of our GDP as a continent, and also contributes about 60 to 70% employment opportunities for people on the continent. So an institute like this that is helping to improve how this sector operates is actually indeed at the forefront of addressing these issues that we face on the continent. So I want to say to you and your colleagues, well done. And to our development partners, I've always said that in the 21st century, development partners must engage with Africa in a way that actually helps to create sustainability, in a way that helps to create self-reliance and dignity. And I think those who are involved in supporting IITA are actually doing that, and they're actually leading the way we want it to be in the 21st century. And finally, let me say how impressed I am to be in this wonderful environment today. When I drove in, I was screaming in the car, taking pictures, screaming. I said, is this Nigeria? This is marvelous. And I asked the executive director, UBA, who came with me, I said, have people allowed to hold retreat sessions in this kind of environment? It's more charge, eh? So you have clients who have to be coming here. I know Baba is moving. Let me just say finally that the Tony Elumelu Foundation is proud of what you're doing here. We will like to engage further with you and see how we can support what you're doing. Every year we support 1,000. Every year we support 1,000 young Africans from 54 African countries, and it's instructive to know that about 30% of them are in agri-space, and any support we give to IITA will be a support to our entrepreneurs, and that is what the continent needs. And Baba cannot make a call and we don't heed. Thank you very much.
Tony, thank you very much. I know that you will not wait until I call before you answer the call. Well, we are now gradual by gradual, as my soldiers will say. We are now gradual by gradual coming to the family. The next man I will call out is Dr. Jimmy Smith, who joined the International Livestock Research Institute as Director General in October 2011. Before joining ILRI, he worked for the World Bank, leading the bank's global livestock portfolio. Earlier in his career, he worked at ILRI and its predecessor, the International Livestock Center for Africa, from 1991 to 2001, based right here in IITA Ibadan. He is a full member of the IITA family. Dr. Smith, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Former Presidents Gowon and Obasanjo, ministers of the government of Nigeria and ministers from elsewhere on the continent, President Adesina, excellencies of the diplomatic corps, distinguished members of the private and public sector, ladies and gentlemen, I'm asked to say a few words on behalf of the wider fraternity of the CGIAR. Before I do that, a personal note. It is nostalgic for Charmaine and I to be back on campus here, where I started my sojourn in Africa as a relatively young scientist right here on this campus. So I feel very much at home here amongst all of you. I'm envious, however, that Sanginga is remembered for his exemplary publication records, when it was Sanginga and I who were known as the party animals on this campus. He brought Pepe Kale and I brought Bob Marley, and it happened every weekend. Just recently, someone asked me, do I still have those big speakers I had in my living room? Sanginga, Mr. Chair, DG, members of the staff, friends and family of the of IITA and of the CGIAR. With me today are two other colleagues as DGs from SIP and Africa Rice, and the regional representative for Africa from SIAT. On behalf of the rest of the CGIAR fraternity, I bring you greetings. Warm congratulations on this 50th anniversary celebrations. We congratulate you for your fine accomplishments in science, which many have discussed already. The rest of the family congratulate you for your outstanding records in building partnerships across the continent, within the CGIAR and outside of it. We congratulate you for the efforts in capacity development that you have forged across the continent. Times have changed since 50 years ago, and the new challenges have emerged: youth employment, scaling technologies. We congratulate you in the way you have embraced these new endeavors on scaling your technologies, as we have heard already, and your efforts to bring young people into the agriculture sector. As much has been accomplished over time, as Maslow said, a satisfied need is no longer a motivator. There's much work left to be done. By the time population stabilizes at just under 10 billion people, there will be 2.5 billion more people to feed on a land base that some say is reaching its ecological limits. Many have professed before that agriculture will not be able to meet the challenges of feeding the world. Malthus said that population grows geometrically, agriculture grows arithmetically, and we're bound to see a catastrophe. What Malthus did not realize is the power of science and partnerships that you have forged along with the rest of the CGIAR. So as we celebrate the 50 years that have gone by, we look forward in the CGIAR with you in partnerships internally and externally to contributing to the new challenges of the next 50 years. So it is often said that life begins at 40. But in the case of IITA, we can say life begins at 50. Happy anniversary and all the best in the future.
General Gawan, for you, life begins at 80. And if your 83rd birthday is only a few months away, I felicitate with you in advance. And we all do so. We still continue with the family of CGIAR. And I will now call Dr. Audu Grema, who is based in Abuja as the Senior Manager for Agriculture for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and provides strong support to IITA. Please convey our special appreciation to Bill and Melinda for what they have done, what they are doing, and what we are sure they will continue to do. Well, without any much ado, Audu, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellencies, our two indefatigable former presidents of Nigeria, General Obasanjo and General Gowon, we, those of us who are young, admire your energy and tremendous trust and belief in development, and we hope we also become like you as we age. Truly, as the General has challenged me, I carry with me felicitations of goodwill and greetings from the Foundation leadership, particularly from Bill, who has said we should make sure we share these sentiments. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is only 23 years old, but we share the same ideals and belief like our other cousins, Ford Foundation and Rockefeller. Rockefeller is over 100 years old, but we believe in the power of research, innovation, and discovery as the fastest route to promote development outcomes. And he has said this is a conviction that makes us to make sure that all the strands of the work we do around the world have R&D components embedded in them all through and through. We welcome this attainment of 50 years as IITA has reached. We consider IITA as a partner of choice in Nigeria. We have nearly a dozen existing grants addressing innovative areas around seed systems, productivity enhancement systems, various crop commodities and value chains, but also some very novel groundbreaking work on food safety and aflatoxin safety that will enhance the quality of our commodities as they aspire to make the export grade. And we are still counting. We are hugely, hugely attracted by this new opportunity the IITA has been given by African Development Bank and World Bank to provide the platform for pushing transformative agriculture. And the IITA Clearinghouse, we think, is a mechanism for blended finance. And we at the Foundation are willing to support you as well as support President Adesina as we make this journey to promote transformation in Africa. With these few words, I'd like to follow the goodwill expressed by others, and we welcome the opportunity for probably another 20 years when we can now celebrate success and attainment of food security across Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You know, DG, if I were you, I will have somebody who is doing nothing but recording all the support that those who are coming out here to congratulate you are offering, and I will follow up the. I will now call Dr. Yemi Akinbamijo, who has been Executive Director of the Forum for Agricultural Research in Africa, FARA, and which is based in Accra. And during this time, IITA and FARA have strengthened their partnership at both organizations, as both organizations are committed to strengthening the national agricultural research systems on the continent. Let me tell you, for security purposes, I don't like people behind me. No. And I saw General Gowon. I saw General Gawan pointing at me.
Yes.
Those who were standing behind him did him in.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We can't beat you at that. Well, let me start by standing on existing protocols, and as time is not a luxury that I have today, I will read my script very quickly. Please allow me to, on behalf of the board chair of the Forum for Agricultural Research in Africa, Dr. Ephraim Mukisira, first of all express our heartfelt gratitude and felicitations to the board of the IITA and to the Director General as you commemorate this Golden Jubilee anniversary this week. I have chosen to base my message on a short poem, and it reads, this is a poem from Emily Dickinson. To make a prairie, it takes a clover and a bee. One clover and a bee and reverie. The reverie alone will do if bees are few. That's the end of the poem. But the poet has a point there that in life, one may only be given few tools to get to where you need to go. But even if short-handed, anything can be achieved with a dream. You may actually be given all you need, like the bee, the clover, and the reverie, but most important of all, it is keeping the dream and the vision alive. Now, IITA has done that very good for the past 50 years, and we thank our great visionaries, General Gawan. I'm told that this land of 1,000 hectares was sold for only a few pieces of banja kola nuts, and I still wonder who ate those banja. President Obasanjo, our chairman for today, ladies and gentlemen, the operational context of the African agricultural research and development is today extremely dynamic, and thanks also to the impetus we've received from the leadership of Dr. Akin Adeshino. And again, congratulations on your recent award. Africa has finally decided to take the bull by the horn, and by taking responsibility for institutional and technical growth of its agricultural development. The signs of the times show a strong convergence of events too significant to be ignored, and the red thread in all of this is the modernization of our food production system using science. Here, I would like to commend the government of Nigeria for its unflinching support to IITA and to the agricultural transformation agenda. I commend the different donors and development partners that support the IITA dream, and also those that are just giving their support. The vision, as you can see today, is a dream come true. So, welcome to the future. Truly, a child is born by a woman, but it certainly will take a community to raise that child, and that is what we're here to celebrate today. For us at the Forum for Agricultural Research, one small lesson that we have learned on the way forward in the next 50 years that we want to partner with IITA lies in the name of our continent, Africa, which places R and I in the center of the name, research and innovation. And in these two words lies the success of our agriculture and the future of our continent. When we see Africa, we at the Forum see research and innovation as the way forward, and there IITA comes once again to the front burners. It is unthinkable that we can win the battle against food and nutrition insecurity without science. However, the hard and naked truth is still the lack of financial support from the continent. Dr. Sanginga alluded to it a short while ago. So let me quote one of our champions of the science agenda for agriculture in Africa, very much present here, Dr. Kanayo Nwanze, who did say at some point that Africa's agriculture is far too important to be outsourced. And this is what we have done for 50 years, and our agricultural goals and expectations have quickly become sometimes a frustrating mirage. And this is due, and if attention is not given to science and technology, we may still be in the same scenario. In closing, FARA looks forward to a stronger symbiotic catalysis into the future. My last words are now summed up in the iconic statement of the Indian elder statesman and visionary, Jawaharlal Nehru, who said, and I quote, "Everything can wait, agriculture cannot." Ladies and gentlemen, with a clover, a bee, and a reverie, together we will make an African prairie. Welcome to the future. Long live IITA, long live Nigeria, and long live food and nutrition secure Africa. Thank you.
I realized that I did not shake the hands of those who came before you. Why did I shake your hand? Huh? But you shook my hand. You shook my hand, sir. No, sir, we won't argue here. You know, I am not unmindful of the fact that there has not been gender balance. Now, I want to apologize to the women here and the women not here on behalf of those who produce this program. I'm apologizing on their behalf. Forgive us for not having gender balance. Next time, we will make correction. But the person who is coming out now is a woman of, in the days of Mbadiwe, it will be timber and caliber. Ayoka? Okay. Ayoka, all I will say about you is that you are directly connected with this institute in the early years. And maybe you will give us some reminiscences that will make us laugh. You have the floor.
The chairman of this occasion, Your Excellency, Baba Olusegun Obasanjo, GCFR, please permit me, sir, to stand on existing protocols. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today's gathering reminds me of the significance and solemnity of another ceremony where I was present here at the IITA 47 years ago. It was the ceremonial commemoration of the Institute in 1970. To carry out that formal opening was the dashing, young Nigerian head of state, who 3 years earlier, in 1967...
Now you provoke me to stand up. Okay.
3 years earlier, in 1967, had signed a decree that established IITA. Of course, I speak of none other than General Yakubu Danyuma Gowon, GCFR, who has spoken to us. He has spoken to us this morning. We thank God for your life, sir. As it happened, Steve and I were associated with IITA since 1966. I felt privileged when Steve was recruited in New York as an international staff member by the Rockefeller Foundation on behalf of IITA. On behalf of all IITA alumni and their spouses, it is with heartfelt pleasure that I congratulate IITA on its charmed existence and extraordinary research and development accomplishments over the past 50 years. The primary beneficiaries of the various breakthroughs have been in Africa, where the need is greatest. We are grateful to the Rockefeller Foundation and the Ford Foundation, founders of this institute. We are immensely proud of our association with the institute. In the course of pursuing IITA's organizational mission, individual alumni have distinguished themselves professionally and quite remarkably. And the physical and managerial environments have enabled spouses and children to meet their own needs and aspirations. On leaving IITA, several alumni went on to head major agricultural research organizations around the world. IITA, in a sense, has been a breeding ground for leaders of agricultural development. The oldest living IITA alumnus and the second Director General of IITA, Dr. William Gamble, left to establish from scratch the International Service for National Agricultural Research, ISNA, at The Hague in the Netherlands. IITA's second Deputy Director General, Dr. John Nicol, went to head the International Center for Tropical Agriculture, CIAT, in Cali, Colombia. Dr. Eugene Terry, who is supposed to be present with us this morning, who is here with us, became the two-term Director General of the West Africa Rice Development Association, WADA. Dr. Hans Herren was made Director General of the International Center of Insect Physiology and Ecology, ICIPE, in Nairobi. Dr. Herren was the recipient of the World Food Prize in 1995 for his work at IITA on the biological control of the cassava mealybug. As you have seen also present are other alumni who have practically become household names in agricultural research and development. Dr. Kanayo F. Nwanze, an IITA alumnus, after a stint at ICRISAT, headquartered in Hyderabad, India, succeeded Dr. Terry as Director General of WADA, and in a glorious crowning of a distinguished career, became a two-term president of the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, in Rome. In 2016, Dr. Nwanze became the first laureate of the Africa Food Prize. Our host today, Dr. Nteranya Sanginga, another alumnus, is the very first African to be appointed Director General of IITA. In the 50 years of IITA's existence, times and circumstances have, of course, changed, but it is true to say that Dr. Sanginga has been the most accomplished Director General of IITA. His success is due in large measure to his innovativeness, his passionate vision of a world free of poverty and suffering, his kind-heartedness and genuine interest in people, and his enthusiasm and ability to mobilize resources for the projects in which he believes. Dr. Kenton Dashel, the IITA Deputy Director General for Partnerships, is also an illustrious alumnus. So also is our indefatigable Dr. Kwesi Atakra. We proudly count as one of us the newly minted 2017 laureate of the World Food Prize, Dr. Akinbamijo Adesina, former Nigerian Minister of Agriculture and presently the President of the African Development Bank. We acknowledge the tremendous support Dr. Adesina is giving IITA. The Ibadan campus of the IITA was designed and developed to be a most family-friendly environment and an ideal place to raise children, thanks to the foresightedness of the founding fathers, such as F.F. Hill of the Ford Foundation, William Myers, and John McKelvey of the Rockefeller Foundation. The idea, you might call it a strategy, was to make life and living so convenient and comfortable for spouses and children that staff would have little or no distraction from their work. Spouses and children lived in a secure environment and made lasting friendships. And of course, staff members, being highly motivated, could easily become workaholics. But the spouses happily held the home front during the long absences of the staff members. At a time, the staff living in Ibadan were drawn from not less than 40 countries. This provided a special education and harmonious living in a diverse environment. This was the education the children at IITA imbibed without effort, thus making them especially prepared for life in today's global village. It is therefore with great joy and much emotion that I, on behalf of the body of alumni and spouses, congratulate IITA most heartily and wish her even greater accomplishments in the future, such that before long, agriculture will become profitable business and poverty very much alleviated throughout Africa. I thank you all for listening.
Thank you very much. It's very well appreciated. Expressing all that information about alumni and the way they are helping to make a difference in various parts. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to a little pause, and it's a musical pause. And I'm sure you will all get excited. About 3 months ago, or not quite 3, but almost 3, a young lady walked into my office, and she said, I have seen so many organizations, and she cited an example. She said, even Nigerian breweries, they have a song that represents the organization. What is the song for IITA? And I said, well, as far as I know, we don't have a song. So she said, well, myself and 2 other colleagues of mine, we really want to put together, write a song about IITA, if only you can guarantee that we can sing that song. So I gave them the go-ahead, and ladies and gentlemen, it has been an amateur-type project, because this young lady is actually a student at the University of Ibadan, but she did her youth corps here in IITA. And right now she's doing her master's and doing her project here with our Genetic Resources Center. And yet, I didn't know she has some hidden gift in music. So she has 2 colleagues of hers, and as I invite the first colleague to come to the stage, I invite the music to get ready whilst they come on.
The 50th anniversary song is dedicated to all. The 50th anniversary song is dedicated to all lovers of agriculture in Africa and the globe. It shows that Africa has the capacity to feed the nation and Africa as a continent. For we in IITA, we've been doing that in transforming African agriculture in the last 50 years. And for the next 50 years, we are poised to transform African agriculture. Ladies and gentlemen, IITA is 50. Hooray!
From Abuja to Gambo, down to Lansman, to Lawrence Peter, down to Harder, to Peter Hansman. Now it's Sangiga. 1957, 2017, yeah. We have a moving higher and higher, fighting poverty, fighting unemployment, creating wealth from agriculture. IITA, yeah, we are moving higher. IITA, yeah, we are 50 today. IITA, everybody, let's celebrate, let's jubilate, celebrate, let's jubilate, let's celebrate, everybody, let's jubilate. Oh, let's celebrate. Oh, everybody, let's jubilate. Yeah. Let's celebrate. Everybody, let's jubilate. Oh, let's celebrate. Yeah. Transforming Africa, we must stop poverty from the people. We must flourish our motherland. Yes, let's do this together. Transforming Africa, we must stop poverty from the people. We must flourish our motherland. Yes, let's do this together. IITA, yeah. We are 50 higher. IITA, we are 50 today. IITA, everybody, let's celebrate, yeah. Let's jubilate. Let's celebrate. Transforming Africa. Oh, transforming Africa. Transforming Africa. Transforming Africa. East to the west, to the north, to the south. We are changing lives. Down to the left, to the right. East to the west, to the north, to the south. We are changing lives. Down to the up, to the left, to the right. Oh, Africa, let's celebrate, yeah. Let's jubilate. Let's celebrate, yeah. Let's jubilate. Let's celebrate. Everybody, let's jubilate. Let's celebrate. Transforming Africa. Transforming Africa. Transforming Africa. Oh, na na na. Transforming Africa. Transforming Africa. Transforming African agriculture now. Thank you.
Well, if you are wondering what was going on. I was celebrating. I was also gyrating at the same time. And I was told that there were 2 sets of music, but later on I understand that we will have only one for now. Maybe the other one will be reserved for another day, another time, or later when we have time, because time is not our friend. Now we move forward. We've heard a lot about Dr. Kanayo Nwanze. Again, I congratulate you, never too late, as the first awardee of the African Food Prize. Among other things, since Dr. Kanayo Nwanze retired from IFAD, is that he has taken on the duty of Special Goodwill Ambassador for Zero Hunger, for FAO. Am I correct? Well, I don't know what your own special Goodwill Ambassador entails. In my own case, I am honorary international ambassador. And I insisted they should put honorary because I don't want people to start making mistakes, and when I go around, they say, Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador. No. Don't make that mistake. In your own case, it's not honorary. So if it's not honorary, whatever money you collect, we can talk about sharing it. Dr. Kanayo, you have the floor.
Thank you, sir, General Chief. Let me stand on protocol because of time, if you'll allow me. I think I also consider this a very emotional occasion, for I also am celebrating some 45 years since I was associated with IITA in 1971 as a research technician. And 40 years celebration as a research postdoctoral fellow here in 1976. But that is history. So I congratulate Dr. Sanginga and the whole IITA community for the excellent work they have done. For time, I have 3 key messages. The first one leads from what Director General Sanginga shared with us. $35 billion Africa is spending on importing food that we can grow. By 2030, it will be $100 billion. Added to this, in 2015, Africa lost $14 billion worth of food due to food loss. That could have fed 48 million hungry Africans. When you put all of this together, it is not just simply saying we are spending $35 billion importing food. We are actually putting $35 billion in the pockets of foreigners. We are creating jobs for thousands of farmers outside of Africa, when we have the highest jobless rate of our populations. We are putting money in the pockets of others, not just governments, individuals and companies in Asia, Latin America, and other parts of the world. That, for me, is the greatest shame for Africa. Because that money can be invested in producing food, invested in strengthening our institutions. Without strong institutions, Africa will never make progress. Second message. Agricultural transformation in Nigeria and in Africa will not occur until we put our money where our mouth is. I have attended too many meetings in my 40-year career. I have listened to too many declarations, too many commitments, and too many promises. We've had enough of that. What we need today in Africa, in Nigeria, is action. Action on the ground. It calls for governments to invest in their institutions. Highest political leaders should just stop talking and act. It is time for us to be realistic. Let's face it. The African Development Bank will not transform Africa until our African leaders know what they want to do and use that money properly. That is where we must begin from. Just imagine that 60 to 70% of our populations live in rural areas of Africa. What is their primary source of livelihoods? Agriculture. What kind of agriculture? Smallholder agriculture. Do we fund smallholder agriculture, or do we talk about it? The developing world is home to more than 80% of all the poor people in the world, and Africa happens to be the leader of them all. But look at where these rural populations who grow the food that we consume, 80% to 90% of the food we consume in this country and other parts of Africa is produced by them. Go to where they live, rural areas, no roads, no energy, no clinics, no financial systems. How many of you will live in a village without electricity? That is their livelihood. They feed us. Do we invest in infrastructures, in social services, or do we talk about them? That's my second message. My final message goes to IITA. Zanginga, congratulations, you've done a great job. IITA is a leader in research for development, innovation, and capacity building. It's an innovation center, an incubation center. It's an engine for a dynamic value chain mechanism that can transform Africa's agriculture, only if our governments and our leaders actually invest in IITA. So the first thing for IITA to think about in the next 50 years is sustainability. Sustainability of its systems, financing, research excellence, accountability, and integrity. For we know IITA today has not always been like this under other leadership. Think about what happens 10 years hence. Number two, we must engage proactively in advocacy. Advocacy to governments to invest in research as the backbone for transformation of agricultural systems. You have that responsibility, and you have evidence, and you can show it. But you must go beyond governments, and you must advocate with the private sector. They must invest in agriculture. Why should Dangote not give you funds to do research that will generate technology for Dangote? Foundations. The third message for IITA is growing future farmers. Today we have agripreneurs, and I'm glad to have been associated with agripreneurs, which I instigated in August of 2012. And of course, as usual, my younger brother, Additional, has moved that up a step higher. Thank you for that. But you must see what this means for the African landscape. It was rightly mentioned, the average age of the farmer today is 60 years. What's going to happen tomorrow? If our youth are not interested in agriculture, what else? But the call is not just that. The call I have is for the young people themselves. There is money in farming. It is an economic business. the richest of people that own Walmart and the rest of them, that is also farming. So farming is not just putting the seed in the soil or milking the cow. On the whole value chain, you can make money in processing, in marketing, in packaging, and what else? So there you go. Don't shy to call yourself a farmer. Baba here once presented himself at an immigration in the US. So what do you do? He said, I'm a farmer. And they kept him waiting for a few hours to find out really who he was. Thank you very much. IITA, congratulations.
Dr. Kanayo, thank you very much. No, Dr. General Lawani is not leaving us. He's going to talk to the press. Dr. Kanayo, thank you very much. In spite of that ordeal, I am still a farmer. Now, according to the program put in my hand, I jumped a little bit. I jumped a little bit because the next two speakers are Francophonie. They will speak to us in French. But don't get worried if you do not understand French. There will be a summary of their speech, a short summary in English for those of you who only understand English. But the shame is that neither French nor English is an African language. And we should never fight over it. Anglophone, Francophone, Lusophone. Now, why are we not having Hausaphone? Or Yorubaphone? Or Igbophone? Anyway, we leave that till another time. It's my pleasure to invite Dr. Dio Guide Grema, the Minister of Agriculture and Livestock, Burundi, to take the floor.
Excellences, Monsieur l'Ancien Président, Baba Olusegun Obasanjo, Excellences, Monsieur le Ministre, Excellences, Monsieur le Président de la Banque africaine de développement, Excellences, Monsieur l'Ancien Président du FIDA, Excellences, Monsieur l'Ancien Premier Ministre, Monsieur le DG de l'IITA, distingués invités, je voudrais tout d'abord vous transmettre des salutations et des remerciements de Son Excellence, Monsieur le Président de la République du Burundi, Pierre Nkurunziza, et il remercie vivement l'IITA pour avoir convié le gouvernement du Burundi à cet événement historique. 2000, j'étais stagiaire à l'IITA, Station Bénin. 2003, j'ai eu mon master. Et 2007, j'ai eu mon PhD. Aujourd'hui, je suis avec vous pour cet 50e anniversaire. Vous ne savez pas combien c'est une grande émotion comme moi en tant que ministre. Pendant cette période de mon passage à l'IITA Bénin, j'ai retenu deux grandes leçons qui m'ont aidé et qui ont fait que je sois ce que je suis aujourd'hui comme ministre. Le premier message, c'est que la meilleure de la recherche, c'est celle qui nous rapproche des bénéficiaires des populations. Et l'IITA est sur cette voie. Le deuxième message, c'est celui de garder en mémoire toujours nos bonnes références, nos bons modèles. Dr Adesina, un homme de grande vision, nous rappelle que l'Afrique doit nourrir l'Afrique. Et c'est tout le programme de recherche et c'est tout le programme de transfert de technologie et de l'IITA. Dr Kanayo Nwanze nous renseigne aussi que pour arriver à ce but, il faut oser investir dans les petits exploitants, des paysans qui sont à milliers d'hectares, composés par des femmes et des jeunes et qui nous nourrissent sous la pluie et sous le soleil. Et enfin, Dr Sanginga, vous avez aussi construit ces concepts autour de l'entrepreneuriat des jeunes. Je voudrais vous rassurer que le gouvernement du Burundi est en train de construire sur ces grandes visions. Et le gouvernement du Burundi veut vous rassurer également de tout son appui. Il veut que l'IITA soit très visible au Burundi. Et j'ose espérer en même temps que vous allez bientôt arriver au Burundi pour témoigner de vive voix vous-même cette conviction du gouvernement du Burundi. Il en est de même pour Dr Adesina, à qui je dois du respect, que le gouvernement du Burundi est en train de construire sur votre conviction et sur votre vision. Je voudrais terminer par ci, tout en félicitant vivement l'IITA et tout en réitérant en tant que ministre de l'Agriculture et de l'Élevage que je ferai tout mon possible pour que l'IITA soit une lumière, non seulement pas dans le monde, pas seulement plutôt en Afrique, mais aussi au Burundi. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that word of greeting. Would like to ask Ms. Binta Sal. Ms. Binta Sal used to be with us here in IITA as the head of the interpretation pool. So she is an alumna, and would like to call upon her to give us a quick summary of what the Honorable Minister has just said. Binta Sal.
Okay, Excellency, President Obasanjo, Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Excellency President of the African Development Bank, former Prime Minister of Congo, RDC, DG of IITA, all in your ranks and protocols. I am conveying to you the greetings of my President, Pierre Nkurunziza. IITA we thank IITA for inviting our government to attend its 50th birthday. I remember I was here in 2000 as an internship, and I got my PhD in 2003. Today, on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of IITA, it is a great honor for me to represent my government here. We know that you are doing research for the benefit of our populations, and this is how we will develop Africa in future. We thank all the people who contribute in this endeavor. Dr. Adesina, your commitments, Dr. Nwanze, Dr. Sanginga, we have taken up in Burundi your idea of agribusiness. This will take us to look into the future. Burundi supports IITA. Our government is committed implement all the results you will deliver to us. We want to congratulate IITA, and we'll make our utmost, not only for IITA to shine in Nigeria and in Africa, but throughout the world. Thank you for associating us to this effort and to this occasion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May I call His Excellency, the former Prime Minister of DRC, my brother Matata Ponyo Mapon.
I will speak in French too. My English is not good. Honorable Président Yakubu Gowon, Honorable Président Obasanjo Olusegun, Excellence, Monsieur le Président de la Banque africaine de développement, Nadessina, cher ami, Monsieur le Directeur général des IITA, distingués invités à vos titres et qualités respectifs. C'est pour moi un grand honneur d'être ici au siège de l'IITA pour participer à cette cérémonie du 50e anniversaire de l'existence de cette institution de recherche agricole. Une institution d'une importance capitale pour l'Afrique tropicale qui utilise les semences qui doivent faire avancer le progrès de l'Afrique. Plusieurs l'ont dit ici, le développement de l'Afrique est fondamentalement lié au progrès de l'agriculture. On dépense énormément de ressources juste pour faire nourrir l'Afrique. Et le président Dessina, dans son mandat, dans ses objectifs, a parlé du programme non seulement d'éclairer l'Afrique, mais de nourrir l'Afrique. Mais comment peut-on nourrir l'Afrique? On ne peut pas nourrir l'Afrique avec une quantité insuffisante, une quantité produite par nos ancêtres. On doit nourrir l'Afrique avec une quantité aussi suffisante pour freiner les importations et utiliser rationnellement le peu de ressources dont dispose l'Afrique. Et pour ça, il faut une production de qualité, une production de quantité, une production de qualité. Et pour une production de quantité et de qualité, il faut effectivement une recherche de qualité pour améliorer la productivité, pour améliorer les rendements. Et pour ça, il faut des semences de qualité qui ne peuvent être que le produit d'une recherche de qualité. Et je crois que l'Institut international pour l'agriculture tropicale est au centre de cette problématique de nourrir l'Afrique, de l'indépendance agricole du continent africain qui a été tant vanté par ceux qui ont voulu l'indépendance de l'Afrique, une indépendance qui ne doit pas être seulement une indépendance de nom, mais une indépendance vraie, une indépendance économique, une indépendance politique qui est fondée sur l'autonomie agricole. Je voudrais donc féliciter le président Yakubu Gowon qui a planté la graine de l'IITA aujourd'hui et nous sommes très heureux de le voir participer à cette cérémonie. Il doit en être certainement fier et heureux plus que nous. Nous voudrions aussi féliciter le président Obasanjo Olusegun, qui est l'ambassadeur spécial pour l'IITA, cette institution d'une importance capitale. Je crois que le travail de qualité qu'il fait dans l'ombre constitue aussi les rayonnements, un facteur de rayonnement de cette institution capitale pour l'Afrique. Pour terminer, je voudrais féliciter tout le staff de l'IITA et tous les dirigeants, depuis le premier directeur général jusqu'à celui d'aujourd'hui, le docteur Sanginga. Félicitations pour le travail de qualité que vous avez fait et qui fait aujourd'hui de cette institution une institution de rayonnement pour les continents, du moins pour l'Afrique tropicale. Enfin, nous voudrions vous souhaiter bon vent pour que vous puissiez continuer à croître davantage, comme l'a dit le président Dessina, dans l'intégrité, dans la transparence, dans la bonne gouvernance, parce que la bonne gouvernance constitue l'une des clés fondamentales pour le progrès de l'Afrique. Si, comme l'a dit le président Dessina, l'IITA fonctionne dans la transparence, dans l'intégrité, et donc l'IITA peut être la belle femme que tout le monde veut épouser. Et ceci est très important parce que l'alliage entre la bonne gouvernance et le leadership, dont certains prédécesseurs ont parlé, constitue effectivement la clé de voûte pour le progrès de l'Afrique. Je vous remercie.
Your Excellency, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the words of encouragement that you have given us. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call...
You don't want the translation this time?
Oh. I'm sorry.
Anyway.
Okay, let's ask Ms. Bintasal.
Former President Yakubu Gowon and Obasanjo of Nigeria, President of the African Development Bank, IITA DG, and all CGR DGs here present. I feel extremely honored to be with us on the celebration of IITA's 50th birthday. It is a very important institute in the production of qualitative seeds that will enhance agricultural production in Africa. Africa's development is very much linked to agriculture. As Mr. Adesina said, we should not only provide power to Africa, but we must feed Africa. How can we feed Africa then? We can't feed Africa with better yields, and this will enable to stop food importation. By doing so, we have to provide to our farmers both qualitative and quantitative results that will be translated into better seeds and better yields on our farms. IITA is at the core of this endeavor of feeding Africa. It was the dream of our forebears. We wanted economic, political, and social food self-sufficiency throughout the continent. So we thank President Gowon and Obasanjo for having always been close to IITA in this endeavor. Efforts are made by not only the IITA staff, but by the former Director General and by Sanginga. They aim at a successful IITA which will be capable of feeding Africa, and this will allow us to feel confident in our future. A future based on integrity, good governance, transparency, that should be the mottos of development for Africa. Long life to our leaders. Thank you for your presence here. Long life to IITA.
Once again, Your Excellency, thank you very much. We appreciate the support of the government of the Democratic Republic of Congo, both for our work in the Bukavu area and also in Kinshasa. We really appreciate it, and thank you very much for also being with us. I'd like to call on Dr. Ken Dashil to come in and introduce our keynote speaker, who would give us an address just before we round up this morning's session. So, Ken.
Thank you very much, Kwesi. It's a great honor and a privilege to be able to introduce our special speaker today. I forgot to do my protocols already. General Gowon, President Obasanjo, stand on existing protocol. I want to be very brief, but I still need to say a few things. Most of us in the room know President Obasanjo very well already because he's been with us all morning, and we've seen his personality, we've seen his sense of humor. But I've had the privilege to work with him for the past 18 months on a project called Zero Hunger for Nigeria. And during this time, what I've learned is, and it's not a surprise, he has an absolute passion for the people of Nigeria, and he loves all the people in Nigeria. I've had the privilege to travel with him to many states, and I can assure you, all Nigerians love President Obasanjo. When I first met him, we had a meeting, and as I was leaving, one of his assistants told me, Ken, if President Obasanjo gives you a suggestion, it means it's an order. And I've taken that from the beginning. The other thing he told me is, Ken, President Obasanjo has never forgotten anything in his life yet. So no matter what little tiny suggestion he gave me, I took it as an order. And I'm glad I did, because his assistant was right. He has never forgotten anything yet. And he always checks, Ken, have you done this? Ken, have you done that? But President Obasanjo, even though my memory is not as good as yours, at least I have some little bit of a memory. And I remember very clearly in one of our Zero Hunger meetings, you said, we are going to do our best to achieve zero hunger by 2025 in Nigeria, and I'm committed to that. And then you said, but if by chance we don't make it in 2025, we have to make it by 2030, which is actually the deadline for the Sustainable Development Goals. And somebody in the room said something, it wasn't an official remark, but somebody on the side made a comment, but who's going to be around in 2030? President Obasanjo immediately replied, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm going to be here in 2030 to see zero hunger in Nigeria. And President Obasanjo, if you would allow me to just extrapolate that a little bit more, I think you have pledged that you will be the honorary ambassador for IITA until 2025 or 2030. Thank you very much, sir. And with that, please, I invite you to the microphone.
General Gowon is not on seat. The acting president is not on seat. His representative is not on seat. Then I will have to start with the representative of the governor of Oyo State and the deputy governor, who actually should have made a presentation, but when I asked the deputy governor and acting or representative of the governor, he said it is the Commissioner for Agriculture, Oyo State, who will make a presentation. Is the commissioner here? Yes. If your presentation is relevant, and I mean very relevant, you have 3 minutes to present it. But if you start and it's not relevant, I will take the microphone from you.
I have the kind permission of His Excellency, the Chairman, and His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Oyo State, to deliver the remarks of the Governor of Oyo State, Senator Abiola Ajimobi. My name is Oyewole Oyewumi. I'm the Commissioner for Agriculture. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, these are the brief remarks of Senator Abiola Ajimobi. I feel highly honored to be a part of the event celebrating the 50th anniversary of the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture. My pride stems from the fact that we are celebrating an institution that is fulfilling its mission of securing a stable and food-secure future for not only Nigeria, but the whole of sub-Saharan Africa and beyond. Please accept my congratulations on the journey so far. Since its inception in 1967, the Institute has worked with national and international partners to improve livelihoods, enhance food and nutrition security, preserve the integrity of our planet's natural resources, and increase employment. Oyo State is proud to be associated with IITA in many ways. We have had the singular privilege of hosting this institute since its establishment. We have also supported at various times the institute's efforts in research and development in many areas, such as strengthening seed development, training of local farmers in the use of modern agricultural practices, supporting sustainable agro-input supply and use, engaging youth in agriculture, developing improved crop varieties, linking farmers to markets, mechanization and processing. The benefits of all these efforts contribute to the Sustainable Development Goals aimed at preserving the Earth's resources, zero hunger, good health and well-being, no poverty, clean water, and sanitation. As you may be aware, agriculture is one of the pivotal areas of focus and attention of the government of Oyo State, under the able leadership of His Excellency Senator Abiola Ajimobi. As part of the efforts to reposition agriculture, the state government has put in place a few policies aimed at expanding agricultural production by a minimum of 20% per annum. The key focus crops are cassava, maize, rice, vegetable and livestock, especially poultry and fisheries. These are crops in which the state has comparative advantage in Nigeria. The new policies cover such areas as access to land for large-scale agricultural ventures, mechanization, improved agricultural inputs distribution systems, assurance of good quality seed to farmers, improved post-harvest storage, and encouraging investments in agro-processing and marketing. In all of this, the state has benefited from her cooperation with research institutes such as IITA, Cocoa Research Institute of Nigeria, Institute of Agricultural Research and Training, IART, Horticultural and Training Institute, all located here in Ibadan, Oyo State. As we look forward to the years ahead, I wish to assure the Institute that Oyo State will continue to cooperate with their efforts, and it is our hope too that the Institute will continue to be a veritable partner and resource as we strive to enhance food security, alleviate poverty, and expand the economy of our state. I wish you all a pleasant 50th anniversary celebration. Thank you and God bless.
Now, I will have to crave your indulgence. I was given 30 minutes to make my presentation. But even with that, I made it clear that the other two programs we have, if we have followed it properly and we have kept time, I will still have to end at 4 o'clock. If I will use the 30 minutes that I have been given, we will not even have lunch. And lunch is very important. So what I have decided to do is to speak for about 10 minutes. And my speech, I have begged Ken to try and photocopy it and distribute to everybody here. And even those who are not here that you want to take copy for, you can. There are about 4 points that I want to make. One, once again, I want to congratulate you, DG, the chair of the board, and all the staff. And I particularly want to include all the past staff and directors and members of the board. It was interesting to listen to Ayoka giving us reminiscences of the past. And I say, what should be the topic that I will want to talk about or leave you with, take away from me? A world without hunger. That is the topic of my presentation. And I say, look, hunger has been with us from the time of the Bible and up till recent ones in the continent of Africa, and even the one looming in our own northeast as a result of Boko Haram and the disturbance that has happened in that place. But when you take what has happened in research and innovation, which had led to green revolution in Mexico with CEMIT, which predated the establishment of IITA, with ILRI in the Philippines, Rice Institute, which also predated IITA. And what we have seen here, we have heard we saw it and we heard the story of cassava mealybug. I was a victim of cassava mealybug. I just left government as a military head of state in 1979. And I've made up my mind I will go into agriculture. And I planted my cassava. About middle of 1980, I saw the head of the cassava bunching up. And I said, have I chosen the wrong thing to go into agriculture and cassava? And IITA, within a space of 2 years or thereabout, gave us the solution. Of course, that has been talked about. But the father of Green Revolution, Norman Borlaug, who was my friend, broke new ground in research in Mexico. He was invited to India, and he broke new ground. And one of his very able disciples was Swaminathan, who was in charge of ILRI, and I went to spend some time with him in ILRI, in the Philippines, and he came to Nigeria and spent some time with me, and he set up his foundation, MS Swaminathan Foundation in India, and I spent some time with him as well. Now, with what Borlaug did, which was near miracle, he received Nobel Peace Prize because there was no Nobel Food Prize. That's why he got Nobel Peace Prize. He had worked on food security. Now, up to now, there's no Nobel Food Prize, and there can be no Nobel Food Prize because Nobel did not allow for agricultural prize. And of course, we now have World Food Prize, which I participated in. Now, we have heard what IITA has been doing, and commendable. Other research institutes of the CGIAR, what they have been doing together. But I come to this question again. Can we attain a world without hunger in Africa? My answer to this question is yes, but. Yes, but. And if this yes, but that I want to really dwell on, the implication is that it is possible with what we have attained in technology, research, and innovation, but a number of things will still need to be put in place. It cannot be achieved on business as usual terms. It can only be achieved if all relevant institutions and actors and all countries give agriculture the attention that it deserves. Some areas for attention are as follows. African countries must increase their investment in agriculture, all aspects of agriculture. Most countries are far from reaching the target set in the Cardiff Melabu Declaration to allocate at least 10% of public expenditure to agriculture and to ensure its efficiency and effectiveness. The link between research and development must be bridged. Research must be encouraged and supported to see the eventual attainment of development outcomes in food security, wealth creation, and employment generation as the key goal of the research process. We also need to have strategies of engaging and supporting women farmers in a more significant way, including access to land, resources, and inputs. We must commit to developing our infrastructure and markets and recommit ourselves to growing our own food and eating what we produce. We have heard that here. Dr. Dr. Nwanze said with $35 billion, we are putting money in other people's hand, and we are impoverishing ourselves. But not only that, it is shameful and unpardonable for that to continue. For me, God has not created any community without their lands being able to grow or provide what they will eat. We need to make agriculture attractive to youth. The future of food security and agribusiness generally will be influenced by the level of participation, engagement, and innovation that young people are able to bring into it. You have been talking about 60 years being the average age. In my own village, the average age of farmers is 68. My young cousin, who is one of the leading farmers, is 70. And he couldn't do anything now. Now what do? We have to get these young people back, or get them involved. The private sector must be encouraged and incentivized to play their own role in leading and sustaining transformation of agriculture in African countries. We are happy to hear what Aliko is doing. We need more Alikos in commercial agriculture. Government policies and programs must be developed in such a way that it enables agriculture to grow and thrive sustainably. Enabling and conducive environment must, such as availability of land and inputs, ease of doing business, infrastructure, markets, and growth mechanisms must be in place. Agribusiness must be made the major instrument of generating wealth and creating employment for millions of African youth to avoid looming danger. Land, technology, finance, and people must be brought in sync to achieve this. While training successor generation of farmers in modern agribusiness, we must continue to train and deploy extension service workers to work and help the existing farmers until new generation of farmers may not need such extension workers and their services. I am happy to know that through a new partnership between IITA and the Africa Development Bank, a number of these areas are targeted to be tackled in an aggressive and transactional manner. Similar support initiatives are also being made by other organizations and partners, such as the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, United States Agency for International Development, European Union, and so on. The future is bright, but we all need to commit to work harder and to engage in strategic partnerships that are aimed at solving real problems and creating wealth, generating employment, and producing adequate food and nutrition for the populations of the world. I trust and believe that research institutions like IITA will continue to be effective partner and contributor as we move into the assured, sustainable, predictable, and wholesome future, satisfying the needs of the people of the world. Finally, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me once again congratulate the IITA Director General, Dr. Saginga, and all the staff of the Institute, as well as the Board of Trustees for the wonderful progress that has been made by this great institution. On this 50th anniversary, we continue We wish the organization even greater success into the future as it continues to work towards a world without hunger for Africa and the rest of the globe. Thank you for listening.
Wow, can we do better? Can we give a rousing standing ovation to Baba for more than the speech, for all the support that he is giving to agriculture in Africa? Yeah, thank you very much, Baba. We are very grateful for all the support. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask that we appreciate 3 key people who have been very significant for IITA. And with your permission, Excellencies, I would like to first of all ask former head of state, Yakubu Gowon, if you could come and stand here with me with all due respect. And I also would like to request Baba Chief Obasanjo to also come and stand with us here. And finally, President Akin Adeshina, could you also come and join us there? Now let the gifts flow. Let's see you moving on. Now the first one is going to His Excellency, former head of state Yakubu Gowon. President Gowon has asked that I help to read it, and it says, presented to President Yakubu Gowon in grateful recognition of your role in establishing IITA, now the leading research organization in Africa. You believed in this organization, Feeding Africa, and you signed the government decree that caused about its creation. Since then, you have continued to keep yourself alert on the developments that we are making. We give you this as a sign of our gratitude to you, Your Excellency. And you can put the basket right in front of him. Now this basket contains a lot of goodies, IITA products that we'll find. It contains cassava bread. I would like to call on Dr. Sanginga to stand between the 2 former heads of state so that he can make sure he separates them. Okay, so we continue to Chief Obasanjo. And his kid.
I don't want you to.
Okay. It starts with a big Olusegun Obasanjo in grateful recognition of your immense support for IITA over the years. We thank you, Baba, for joining us in the journey to ensure the future of millions of Africans. We are honored that as Honorary International Ambassador for IITA, you are working with us in the battle against hunger, malnutrition, and poverty in Nigeria and Africa at large. Signed by Dr. Nteranya Sanginga, Director General. Finally, Yeah. So I think I'll make sure you do your work very well. Yeah. Okay, finally we give to President Akin Adesina. Akinwumi Adesina, in grateful recognition of your commitment and efforts towards transforming agriculture in Africa, we appreciate your support to IITA, including the Youth Agripreneurship Program. Thank you for helping us to achieve our goal of developing a new generation of farmer entrepreneurs that will ensure that Africa will feed itself in the not distant future. Signed, Nteranya Sanginga. So thank you very much, Your Excellencies. And I think at this point, I will give the microphone to Baba Obasanjo to give his closing remark, whilst also responding on behalf of the three.
Sir, may I speak on your behalf? Well, you see that I make my basket to keep distance from your basket. So I want to thank you because this has been a great day. A great day for all of us, but particularly a great day for IITA. When in 1967 you signed that decree, I'm sure little did you know what seed you were planting. And it is the grace of God that you are here today, 50 years after, to see the tree as great as it has been. Well, we thank God for your life. We thank God for what you have been able to do. And when I said life begins at 80, I mean it. Yeah. And until we all breathe the last breath, there's still always something we can do for our communities, for our country, for our continent, and for our world. I thank you once again. Akin, I don't know what I can say except before thanking you to thank Yemisi. But having thanked Yemisi, I now have to thank you. And also thank God for you and what you have been able to do. In almost every step you have taken so far in your life. When we started interacting, I saw in you the potential that has now started to bloom. And let me say that where you are now is not the height that you will reach. You will still go higher. Somebody said that to me the other day. He said, General Obasanjo, you will still go higher. I said, wow. I said, now how higher will I go? Until I was standing now, I'm standing by General Gawani, and I realized that he is a little bit taller than myself. So I said, yeah. I want to thank all of you for your patience, for your tolerance, for your contribution, because if you are not here, if we have an empty room, then it won't mean anything. But as I said in my short presentation, let us go away from here, determined that we will have an Africa without hunger. We have everything to achieve it. And we can achieve it. And we must achieve it. Thank you for coming. And then the rest of the program, those of you who will participate, please, you are welcome. And then the lunch. Wherever you have to take your lunch, enjoy it. Sir, as a token of what we used to do in the army, you feed your junior first before you... Thank you, sir.
Thank you kindly. God bless you all, and God bless IITA. Well done.
Wow, let's give a warm appreciation for this wonderful thing. Let's really appreciate these three great Africans, three wonderful Africans who have been so wonderful in everything that they have done. Your Excellencies, we thank you so much. We thank God for your lives. Baba Obasanjo said, if it wasn't because of you, this room would have been empty. I want to announce to you that outside there, we have a huge tent of 400 people. It's packed with a television screen. Behind here, we have 500 people. In that tent down there, I don't know whether it's fully packed. But, I mean, and this event is also being live streamed all over. So it's been wonderful having all of you, and we are very grateful to you. Lunch announcement, please let the dignitaries go out first. And as they go out, there is a small tent where they will be able to see some very quick exhibits. We realized we wouldn't have time to take you to the field, but we've brought some key products in the tent. And you will see that, and then after that, you will have lunch in the house of Dr. Sanginga. And after lunch, you will have time for some brief consultation. So the VVIPs and the VIPs, you know yourselves, it's indicated in there. Please, you will walk out. The rest of us, I would ask that we sit, yeah? Let's be seated for a few minutes as they walk out, and then I will advise, yes. So we go out this way, yeah? Please lead the VVIPs and the VIPs to walk out this way. The DGs of sister institutions, you are part of the group. Please go with them. Yeah. Now, the afternoon program, we're trying to make it start earlier. We're starting the afternoon program at 2:30. Sorry, the afternoon program is starting at 3 o'clock, yeah? It's starting at 3 o'clock. And it's not in this hall. The visitors, there will be a bus in front of the International House that will move you to the location. Staff, everybody goes to the AgriServe building. Afternoon program is not inside